Well, it's been a while since we've done one of these, actually. So we're excited to kind of come back again and get to revisit a conversation we had. It's been a little while, but one familiar face and then one new face for anyone that may be familiar with the Central Texas Public Safety Commission. Like I said, I think it was like a year and a half ago that we had Corby, you were here with us, and then Pam Adair, who's now the immediate past chair, I think is the correct title and all of that. Yeah. But now we get to learn so much about the new president, new chair, Jennifer Stevens. So we appreciate y'all coming in.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I guess first thing is, I don't know, Jennifer, just kind of like tell us a little bit about you, how you got into this, like what made you want to jump all over this fun project.
Yeah, I mean, I got involved in the Central Texas Public Safety Commission probably 9 or 10 years ago, just joined the board and started peripherally getting involved, and then got much more engaged and active and interested around 2020. And, for me, there's a few driving factors. One, I'm a mom, so I raised my children here. My daughter, my youngest, is now at the University of Texas, so still here. So public safety from a mom perspective is important. Two, I produce really large events, and nobody wants to come to Austin and attend large-scale events if they don't feel safe. And so, for my family and for my business, public safety is really important. And then the third factor that really drives me to care a lot about public safety is I was raised in a family of people that serve the public in whatever way. My parents were both elected officials in another county for many, many years. One or the other was elected for more than 40 years. And then my brother is an Army Ranger. He's still in the Army. He's a colonel now serving. So public service and just an understanding of the importance of public safety is something I was raised to believe very strongly in. And then, of course, just seeing it both from my personal perspective as well as my business perspective. Being involved and doing what I can to help is important to me.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, actually, I learned this not that long ago talking with our special events unit, like talking about like big events and all of that. Like our one unit, and I forget exactly how much they bring in. Well, their unit like basically oversees all the variety of different special events, but like that public safety component, and that's not even all the smaller ones that happen on a regular basis. But I think they're at like $1.6 billion in economic activity that they're involved in, that are all just their events, their marathons, their like ACL South by. It's large scale events that happen all the time that all require some sort of public safety involvement. Obviously they're looking at it from the police side, but fire and EMS are typically involved in that too. And so it's a huge part of Austin life as well.
It's a huge part of Austin life. It's a huge part of the Austin business community. Yeah. I mean, when you have events on that scale, you've got local printers and local florists and local caterers and all these small businesses that really, rely on these events taking place, people feeling safe, people wanting to return year after year. And so, I mean, of course, you've got public safety as a factor that's important, but you've got a peripheral, business impact that really matters as it relates to public safety. So that number doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. No, it's pretty incredible. So. And I mean, Corby, you're the returning face. Like, what keeps you around? Like, what? You're still here. You're still.
We won't let him leave.
You won't let him leave. Okay, that's fine. That's fair.
No, I think it's. I mean, to Jennifer's point, we've been an organization. Will be 28 years this year.
Oh wow!
And from an organizational standpoint, and working with Jennifer, who's been around the commission for 10 years or so, but. She's a roll them up your sleeves, head down, work hard, get things done. And, for me, it's I've been around the organization for a long time. I care deeply about this city. I care deeply about raising my 3 girls here, and care deeply about leaving it better than we found it. But, in doing that and working with first responders, for as long as I have, it's just a very rewarding work. And we are making a difference in lives. And it matters, and it matters with the city of Austin and the diverse board that we have. Everybody cares deeply about this town. And, and Jennifer, who's obviously our leader and our president, she cares deeply about this town and is not afraid to stand up and speak up when it matters most. And so I stick around because of the leadership capabilities of Jennifer. I mean, I'm excited. We have got a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Since we did, Pam and I did this a year and a half ago, and we've accomplished a lot. But kind of where the organization is going and the dollars that we're trying to go bring in to do really good work with is super exciting. And I just it's a great organization, and I love it. And for better or for worse, they're stuck with me. So.
That's good.
I think they'll survive.
That's
I
good.
think they're okay with that
Yes,
part.
we're blessed.
Yeah. I will say, like, one of the examples that I love, we obviously work with y'all a lot.
Yeah.
But one of the things that is one of my favorites is something that y'all saw coming in, right? We have a barbecue trailer now that, it's a big, gigantic barbecue trailer that we can do anything and everything on it. And we've, over the last, we got it in October, so like 6 months or so, we've had that thing. We've served right around 5,000 meals with that thing. And like, it's going out in different places. And you guys last season, as a little tip off there, helped us with one cook that was probably one of my favorites so far, which was one of the UT tailgates.
Yeah.
Like, we actually went to one of the UT home games, and we were at the UT PD station. We camped out there all night long, and we're cooking. And we served everybody that was working that event. And it was super cool because, like, it's not just APD, it's not just UTPD. It's people from Thrall, Texas, from Taylor, from Pflugerville. Like, there's like, I think they have like 15 or so different agencies, including DPS, and these really small towns that they come in, and they all just love it. Like, someone wanted to feed us. Like, they think it's awesome, and the power of a meal goes a really long ways.
Absolutely.
For feeling that support for people just in the littlest of ways.
Yeah.
Seeing like, hey, there's a lot of people that are out there that are paying attention, that care, and all that. So that is one of my favorite examples.
Well, and Jennifer's just put on an event. We did Heroes and Horns and Heroes, and we gave out. We teamed up with Rudy's, and we had University of Texas Police Department in front of the co-op, and Rudy's donated like 350 breakfast tacos, and awesome. all the police officers within the department gave out breakfast tacos to the kids, and it was
I love it.
It's a great interaction.
it was a great interaction. And the kids were like, "Oh, this is really cool." And I mean, it's obviously we support the University of Texas Police Department, but it's also that our kids are there, and we want them to feel safe. So.
Yeah,
right.
And food is love.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
Yes, it is.
Well, and I think bigger, like, it's an exhibit A of what we really want to communicate to our police, which is, the business community really supports you, and we are going to show you that in big and small ways, right? So sometimes it's really big. Sometimes it's advocacy at City Hall. Sometimes it's op-eds in the newspaper. Sometimes it's, whatever. But sometimes it's just like, let's show up and provide a meal and say thank you for people who are working really hard, taking time from their families and their personal schedules to keep our community safe and keep our events safe and our sporting events safe. And let's just say thank you. Let's do something tangible so that people feel appreciated. And, we think that's very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and I mean, like I said, year and a half ago, it seemed like there was a lot that was getting kicked up. There was like a lot of, I don't know, changes that kind of seemed to be afoot that y'all were really starting to build a lot of things. So, I mean,
definitely
for both of y'all, you can answer me. And Corby, you were here last time when we talked about this, but I mean, kind of tell us a little bit about what all you guys have been working on, all that growth, like where you're like from then to now, year and a half, a lot has changed.
A lot has changed. And I mean, the organization has, there's been, as in any organization, there's been many iterations over, 27 plus years of any organization existing. But in the last 18 months, and truly under Eddie Margain and then Pam Madeir's leadership, both as board presidents, they really just focused on what do we need to do to take the organization to the next level. We only exist to support police, fire, EMS, public safety in Central Texas. So, which we believe needs a lot of support. And there's a lot of areas where we can help lift. And so, but we can't do that from a position of weakness. So we had to be really strong as an organization, and their leadership of just saying, okay, what is it going to take to get us really strong, really stable, raising money, tightly organized, strong communication, so that then we can go have the biggest impact, that we want to have on those that we want to serve. And so they set that vision, and then, Corby, myself, and others, we were like, you know what, we'll roll up our sleeves and get to work, and let's do it. And so to go from, you know, an organization that I think, you know, in the beginning started under the guise of niceties for sure, you know, to an organization that now I think, you know, our impact is being seen at City Hall. I think we're effective at City Hall. We try to partner as best we can, educate as best we can to in our advocacy efforts. I think that's gone really well. Our media efforts have increased significantly. They're going to continue to increase significantly. Our social media outreach has increased significantly. That's going to continue to increase significantly. And then the fundraising, because it all takes money. And so to be able to look up at the end of the year like we did last year, where we were able to take on some huge, you know, projects directly at the request of police, fire, and EMS, we were able to go raise the dollars necessary for those projects, get them implemented, get them funded, and help take care of those who take care of us. You know, that just inspires us to want to do even more. Plus, I tend to have like a really competitive personality. So now I'm like, okay, must do more, must achieve even more. So
never have guessed.
I know. So it's just, but it's rewarding to do because you're working alongside people that are also volunteering their time, and everybody wants to see each other be successful and the organization be successful, so we can have more impact on police, fire, EMS. And so for that, you know, we're lucky we have such a good group of people, and our board has really grown. I mean, we put a lot of energy over the last year into expanding the board, younger individuals, you know, multi-generational family involvement. I mean, we've got to, you know, new industry and entities. I mean, we've got to keep this organization strong, and the only way to stay strong is to continue to evolve and grow.
Yeah, I would add that too. I mean, Ashley Clopen is our executive director, full-time staff. We've got a staff of 4 now, you know, office space, the whole 9 yards. And so, you know, we've put together with a lot of folks, we put together, you know, an organization that is here for the long haul, you know. And I would say that the Central Texas Public Safety Commission, we have to kind of reset every year, look at public safety changes and the requests and the needs change for year in and year out. And so for us, it's one big initiative we just got done doing was, you know, police, you know, fire and EMS came to us and said, guys, we don't have ballistic vests that are needed on a daily basis to keep our men and women safe. They said, go get what you want and give us a number and let us go help you do this. And they did. And we raised it through, you know, local businesses and, you know, independent, you know, donors. And we were able to outfit both police and, EMS and fire with state-of-the-art ballistic vest. Right. I can't tell you how many calls, texts, emails that we received from EMS the night of the Buford's incident. And they were in that bar with those ballistic vests on and saving lives. And so, you know, that, you know, for us, that's exactly what we're here to do, you know, and we don't need credit. We don't need it. We just want to go help, you know, and I think that's something that this organization cares deeply about and we're the backstop of all things public safety. And we get asked a lot. Obviously we can't fund everything, but you know, we've done ballistic vests. We did the new goggles for the mounted patrol. The horses they were old and they couldn't see. And so we did that. We've done K9 programs. We've done, you know, it's just on top of all the stuff that we do alongside you guys at City Hall, there's a lot of things behind the you know, the curtains that we do that just because we want to, you know. And miles for mental health we did with Commander Craig Smith, and we've hosted an event at my office for the folks that, you know, ran the most miles. We did a movie night one night. So it's just it's a lot of fun, you know. And then, you know, to Jennifer's point, I mean, we are, you know, all things public safety, and so it's fun for us to, you know, to interact and I mean, the relationships. I mean, I've known you for a long time, and the relationships that you have with these men and women, I really enjoy and really cherish. So it's a great deal.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely no shortage of work to be done out there, and to have folks that are willing to go take on like every little bit that they can is just it's awesome to see, and so it's a very important organization.
That's something we've seen. I mean, different people get involved in things for different reasons. And so, you know, we've had terrific response from like corporate partners that want to be involved, you know, day in and day out or month in and month out. And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Covert family, who's really taken the lead in that in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And so that's great. If that's a fit for, somebody and their entity and how they want to be involved, perfect. Others, we had just private high net worth individuals that said, how can I help? And we said, we have this ballistic vest project going on. We need several $100,000. And, they really stepped up and wrote significant checks to make those happen. So, we try as an organization to be the conduit for whatever meaningful way people want to be involved. We want to find a way to help them be involved, whether that's stroking a check or that's volunteering and writing a check or whatever that is. We want to facilitate as much support from the community and the business community as we can to meet the needs of, of our police, fire, and EMS.
Yeah, and we now have, which we did in the past, we have a golf tournament, which actually happens in 2 weeks. It's coming up
June 8th.
June 8th at Lyons Municipal, which is great. And then we have our big event in the fall, our fundraising event. And this year we're honoring Joe Holt, who's one of our original, he wasn't one of the founding members, but he was on our board for past 23, 24 years, past president, ran Chase Bank here, extremely well-known Austinite and cares deeply about public safety. So we're going to honor Joe in October, and those events help fuel and fund what we do, and so we've got some ideas of requests that have been asked on us to go help fund, and so we'll announce at that event. But it's really, a lot has happened in since a year and a half of. I think the biggest thing is we've got now a well-oiled machine that's super energetic, that's super supportive, but it's also very well run, and it's and then we've got Jennifer just took on, and Pam. I think the immediate past president is a really good. she likes the immediate part of that, but
she's not going far.
It's a lot of work, and she's been super involved, and Eddie as well. It's just this organization's just got a lot of good folks that have been around the hoop for a long time. So
well, in all honesty, right, the very frank part of the conversation too is that there's been very clear examples, especially in recent years, about all the needs that public safety has and the importance around it. Right, not just. Just the other week.
I was going to say, not years. How about a week ago?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like we have shooting sprees that are happening, on not too infrequent a basis, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We had the West 6th Street incident that happened in March. Like we've had, random bombing incidents that occur in Austin. That it's just it's all kinds of things that just constantly pop up that it seems more and more frequent. And part of it could just be, more media attention makes you more aware, I guess. But the examples of how important public safety is across all three agencies is in Central Texas is just it's huge. And dynamics in council, they've changed a lot over the years. I think you can draw a pretty clear line as to where things really changed when we went to 10-1, and you saw a lot of changes where a lot of institutional knowledge switched over. And so I guess, and that's kind of one of the questions that I'll let you wade into as you so choose. But how have you found it? The advocacy at council is it's huge, right? And it means the world for officers, because having people who are really impacted by the decisions that are made there is very important, right? And especially because I think at its core, and y'all both kind of hit on this, without public safety, it's hard for businesses to thrive, and that business community is really what drives the economy here. Without that, our city isn't able to do all the other things that it wants to do. So, obviously, you guys are getting a lot of requests, and so there's gaps that exist there. And are you seeing more of these requests? Do you think that's a lot more just because of everything that you're doing? People know more, so they ask more? Or is it, a mix of, hey, there's still these gaps with all the budget stuff that the city's dealing with?
I think it's both. There is a finite amount of resources at the city level, and we understand that. We could have a different podcast about prioritization of funding, but I'll stop there.
We'll save it.
Someone
just took a big sigh of relief.
We'll save that.
I'm not sure who it was, but someone did.
But it's both, right? One, I think we are becoming more and more known in the public safety community of meeting some really big requests and taking on some bigger and bigger initiatives. And as Corby said, we continue to have our sights set on really high impact, how are we going to fundamentally transform, public safety in our community type projects. And so I think as those things continue to happen, we'll have more and more attention. And then two, I think the need is everlasting. One of the challenges that I, understand and sympathize with as it relates to being a council member or being a staff member for a council member is, they have any number of issues on any day that they have to deal with, and they're expected to be experts on all of them. They're expected to make tough choices and decisions, and they're doing that in really a space of noise, right? They've got third-party interest groups, they've got nonprofits, they've got individual citizens, they've got all these people coming at them with their various perspectives. So I do appreciate how difficult that job is, which is why I think it is very important for the Public Safety Commission and all of us involved in the Central Texas Public Safety Commission to make sure our voices are heard, to make sure we are speaking at council, to make sure we are sending them emails of, hey, this is the issue and this is where the business community falls on this and this is why. Because we can't rely on people to sort of through whatever osmosis, what they see on social media, whatever. That's not fair for us to expect of them. So it's our responsibility as citizens to communicate to our elected officials what we need and to really encourage them, give them the facts and the data that they need to reach the decision we want them to reach. And then, frankly, to hold them accountable if they don't do that. And then we need it. For example, license plate readers. And we just saw a week ago the importance of why we need those. And I personally think it's embarrassing that Manor Police Department had to provide the information because Austin Police Department couldn't get it because Manor has license plate readers and we don't. Yeah. We're the high-tech capital of the world. We're the 12th largest city in the United States. We are not the sleepy little community we used to be. And we don't have the peaceful community we used to have necessarily. And we need to give our first responders the tools they need to keep our community and themselves safe. Yeah. So we're going to keep advocating for that. But we do understand we have a responsibility of communicating the why and the how, so that the vocal minority, I think, that they do hear from more often, they need facts to outweigh that and make those decisions that we want them to make. We understand that.
Yeah. And I will, to add to that, we've done a really good job of, and Jennifer and Pam have done this, of reaching out to our board and showing, hey, show up. We're locked on with APA on an issue, or OA, or RECA, or Chamber. All these business organizations show up, and I think we've done a better job. We can get better because we need to, but always we can. Our voice is being heard now, and that matters. And obviously we were locked on with you guys during the contract negotiations, and it shows what a business community and business organizations can do when we all put our heads together and get on the get in the boat, row the same direction. And so I think we're going to continue to work on that, and that's important because, to Jennifer's point, our elected officials want to hear from us. I mean, they hear plenty from the other side.
That's right.
And so I think it's very important we continue to to push that message and push that requirement as an active board member of the commission. Is look, this is obviously giving your time, talent, and your treasure, but your time and your talent is super important. Yeah. And and we have organizations. I mean, we individuals that have bigger treasures than others. I get all that, but it's fun to see how the organization has moved in that direction because they care.
Well, even leveraging relationships, right? So Corby touched on something that's important. So you've got real estate council that really they exist to advocate for development issues, right? And then you've got the chamber, and they exist to advocate for business issues. You've got Opportunity Austin; they exist to advocate for new businesses moving into the area and job recruitment. So then you have the Central Texas Public Safety Commission. Our job is to advocate for public safety. So even these other groups that are like-minded, sometimes, most of the time, on these issues, they still look to us to take the lead and say, what do you need from us to support on this issue? And so the police contract being a great example where we were communicating out to those groups, okay, here's what we need. Here's the testimony, that we'd love to see happen. Here's talking points, these kinds of things. So even if it's not our own organization, we as an entity need to provide that information to others to empower them to help help you help us, right?
Yeah.
So it's our job to do that. And I think we've all gotten a lot better at that. The good news is within all those organizations that we were just talking about, myself, Corby, Pam, we all have a lot of very personal friendships there. And so that communication channel and that line of trust between each of these organizations across the community, I think has gotten really, really strong. Maybe it was always strong before, but not to a level I was aware. Now I see it. And so just being able to communicate and partner together when we need to on these things for the betterment of Austin, it's important, and we're trying to do as best we can on it.
And I will say it's Trey Salinas and 3 Point Partners, our eyes and ears at City Hall, and he is incredible, and he cares deeply about this city. But he's really good. He and his team are, okay, let's pay attention to this issue. Let's not worry about this issue, because they're constantly monitoring. So it's really good to have Trey and the team on board.
Yeah, that's a great. I mean,
they do an incredible job.
They do a great job, and picking and choosing our battles is important, right?
Yeah.
If we're up there every day complaining about every single thing,
Sure.
no one's going to want to listen to that. So we do have to be selective and like, okay, these are the things we're really going to fight for,
Sure.
like the police contract. These are the things maybe we're going to have to take a deep breath over here on this one.
Well,
I'm not the best at deep breaths, but
yeah, but you're also seeing these organizations show up. I mean, Chief Davis did an incredible event at the Headliners Club the other day, and OA and Chamber and RECA and Downtown Austin Alliance, and we're all there, and your press conference the other day with Governor. I mean, it's fun to see how much effort's been put in this, and you're getting these organizations, because we get calls all the time. Okay, Jennifer, Pam, this is Downtown Austin Alliance. What's your take on this issue? And so they look at us, but they're showing up at public safety events, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Like, showing up is almost more than half the battle, right? Like,
100%.
It matters.
100%. It is interesting when you go down to City Hall and you sign up to testify on an issue. It is interesting to look around. There's really not, but for a few issues, there's really not that many people there. And so if you get 6 or 8 people to show up on a given agenda item, it can be a lot and very impactful. And so, I think people tend to be like, oh, doesn't matter, or they've already made up their mind or whatever. But I don't think that's true. And I think, at a minimum, just showing support for those who are taking a leadership position on something we care about and or holding accountable those who aren't. At a minimum, I think, looking them in the eye and advocating, I think it can't be overstated.
No, not at all.
I say this all the time. I mean, the men and women of the Austin Police Department and the Austin Fire Department and Travis County EMS, you guys show up for us every day. It's the least we can do.
That's
you
right.
know, and that's a really, it's just a true statement is, look, let's all show up for these folks. They're showing up for us each and every day, and so. It's obviously the least we could do. So
yeah, and I mean, I think it's important too. I love the education component of all of it.
Yeah,
because like you said, I used to work in politics a while back too, and as a staffer, and was very familiar with. Like you are the jack of all trades when it comes to policy, which is an interesting place to be in when you all of a sudden you realize that you're talking to the guy that's going to go vote about something that's going to influence state policy, or local policy or whatever, and. You're not an expert. Like, you rely on so many other people to give you the information.
That's right.
And, you still got to do your fact checking, whatever. But the education piece is huge, and making sure that people are aware. And a lot of times, folks want to be engaged or they want to know, but they don't know where to start. They don't know like, hey, what do I pay attention? Because you can pull up a city council agenda, look at it for 2 seconds and be like, I have no idea. And then just give up right then and
That's
there.
right.
Right.
It's very hard.
Like, you have no idea what you're supposed to pick out of.
It's hard to know, but I will say anybody that is interested from a public safety perspective, if they sign up for our neighborhood network, which they can do on our website, it's just an email. And we will send an email when there are key issues going on. And we will say, this is the issue. If you want to send an email about it, here's how to send the email, where to send the email. If you want to show up, here's how to sign up to testify, when to sign up to testify. So we try to take the complication out. But it is complicated. It is cumbersome. It is, time consuming. So we try to make it as easy as possible for people to, to send that email or testify.
Well, and Jennifer does a really good job of spearheading the team of making sure our information is put out, but it's factual.
Mm-hmm.
Like we do our homework on, and there's a lot of places you can go get social media information, and it's not factual, And I would I would absolutely give Jennifer huge kudos to that, because it matters, and when our neighborhood network blasts out, it's super factual, and so because that's what we're that's what we're saying down at City Hall, so we need to be correct.
That's a big part of the fight. Is so often like they hear counsel, other people, they hear from one side, and it's not necessarily factual. You can twist numbers to say a certain thing, but that doesn't mean that's what's actually going on.
That's right.
Oh, and I think it just a lot of what goes on, and still talking about the education piece here, is like, yes, there are city resources only go so far, but I also think that amongst our three agencies in particular, they're also really good at trying to problem solve within what we currently have, right? And I think one of the things that I never pass up the chance to talk about it, because I love it, and they're a phenomenal team, and they've been highlighted a lot lately. Or their work has, a lot of people don't necessarily know a lot about them, but it's our CAS team, right? Which is a joint partnership between APD and EMS,
it's
right?
huge.
Like, and fire partakes in that one too, at times for a lot of the larger events, but that was a huge part of Buford's and West 6th.
Yeah.
And like, that's like, those are success stories that, yes, I mean, and that's the hardest part about public safety too. And a lot of people question, like, why is it so expensive? Why is all this? It's because we prepare for the worst case scenario. And like, that doesn't happen every single day, right? There's always a need for public safety, but that worst case scenario is always what you're getting ready for. And when you need it, like, you need it. That's not the time to sit here and think like,
I
we
wish
should have
we
started
had
that.
this.
Exactly.
That's
like,
right.
I wish we had.
Well,
not
and
the
if
time.
the Buford's example, it's a little difficult even to talk about, because what you're basically saying is we had a major catastrophe in our community. However, what's important to understand is, but for that program, but for the ballistic vests available, we would have had even more of a major catastrophe. So no one is, braggadocious about that situation. Each of us wishes deeply these kinds of things would never happen, but they do happen, and we can't put our head in the sand and pretend they don't. We can't put our head in the sand and pretend that Austin is, a sleepy little peace, love, and happiness town. We're not. We're a big community, and we've got big responsibilities. And Buford's highlighted that, I think, very succinctly for all of us. Like, this is real. It's in the middle of downtown. I was texting with several people involved in the Central Texas Public Safety Commission around that. And I said, a week prior, I was in that exact spot with my daughter for, mom's weekend for her sorority. So like, this is not all that far away from each and every one of us in our lives. So we have to step up and provide the things we need, like the ballistic vest, like the, anything, whatever equipment is necessary. And is it expensive? Sure. But at what cost public safety? And I think we're all very thankful that the team that responded to Buford's responded the way they did, as quickly as they did, just a phenomenal job, and that they had the resources available to do the job effectively and swiftly.
Yeah. And I mean, and to your point, it's one of those things where, like, there's a lot to be grateful in it, but also recognizing at the exact same time, everybody wishes that none of that was necessary.
That's right.
Like, that's,
Absolutely.
and the
Of
reality
course.
is, like, that's the goal. That's what we want to get to.
Of course.
That stuff doesn't happen, that it's not necessary, but, unfortunately not the world that we live in. So, and there's a lot more like that goes on too, that you guys are working on, that everybody's working on, trying to build, trying to grow, do all these other things. But I mean, like, what are some of the things that you guys have coming up, like, and that are big projects, or that you're focused on, that you're ready to talk about? Like, don't give away any secrets yet.
No. I mean, I think one of the biggest things we're going to focus on over the next couple of years, as long as I serve as board president, is recruitment and retention for APD. It's incredibly important. And I think, again, big in little ways, right? So we're going to raise bigger dollars where we try to launch some pretty big, media campaigns and PR efforts. And then we're going to think about little ways we can show support too. Like, can we do more, barbecues around, tailgates around UT, and everything in between. So we've got to keep, the officers that we have, and we've got to show them in as many ways as we can that we appreciate them, we respect them, and we need them, and we trust them, and we thank them. So we're going to do that. But we can't just do that. We've got to focus on this huge deficit that we have in the total number of officers. And so we've got to solve that problem by trying to get as many candidates into that pipeline as possible. Yeah. And so we're going to do everything we can, working side by side with the chief and APD, but we're going to do everything we can to raise money and really go promote recruitment into APD classes and try to start filling these cadet classes, because we've got to catch up as a community.
Yeah, I think it was I've seen 2 articles, I think, in the last week, one out of Houston, one out of Dallas, and I can't remember which one it was, but I think it's Houston, where Houston has the most cops now that they've had since 2015.
Yeah.
And then Dallas also, I think, is at one of their peaks. They've been growing quite a bit. They've caught up from where they did hit one of their low points.
Well,
so
and
I
I think just like we've got to highlight that the Austin community, it's time for us to move on from the impacts of what we all went through in 2020. Learn, do better, but move forward, right? And so as a part of that, we have got to go tell the story of why Austin is a special place to be. I mean, we are all the 3 of us are living here. We're raising our families here. We care about this community, and we need to do the best we can to articulate why, when you come to Austin as a police officer, you're going to be respected, appreciated. You're going to have the tools you need to do your job effectively and safely so you can get home to your family. So we've got to take those steps as much as we can to support that message and backfill these classes. And we need to be a headline that we're full and that we've got full staffing of what we need. And, the numbers that we see in terms of deficit, those numbers are, a decade old? So we're probably even more in a deficit than we've been willing to tell ourselves. So we've got some work to do.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I think you look at in the recruitment and retention will be will be the biggest effort that the organization does this year by far. And you look at these departments: Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Delta State. You and I have talked about this. And is it facilities? There's all those things we want to go learn. But to Jennifer's point, it's really showing the men and women in uniform, hey, we've got your back. We're also as Chief Davis says, we want to recruit top talent. This job is not for everybody.
No, it's not.
And as you well know, you look at these cadet classes, that the size of these cadet classes when I was, in 2015 to 2020, there was upwards of 125, 130 officers, cadets in those classes. And you're seeing, obviously we went through what we did in 2020, but we go to every one of the graduations and you're seeing the numbers increase, which is great. But we got to continue to do that.
We got to keep.
And then just asking the question, what'll keep you here? We don't want to lose anybody. What's it going to take to have you stay on board? And so, we're gonna put a lot of effort into that.
Yeah, one of the number one things, and it's a conversation primarily for a lot of our leadership within the city, where budget conversations and all that is always coming around. But the number one thing that costs you nothing, that has one of the greatest impacts about the ability to recruit, is the support that people feel.
Right.
Yep.
And I think there's a misconception too as to what exactly support means. Support doesn't mean that we're agencies that can do no wrong. People screw stuff up. People make mistakes.
Totally.
People make bad calls, and those are things that have to be dealt with.
Sure.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean that you can't support these organizations and the people that stand behind them in that whole process, because the overwhelming majority are doing the job the right way, right?
Yeah.
With the right intentions. The bad apples always need to be weeded out. That's
100%.
absolutely what needs to happen. But there's still some hesitancy. I think it's changing.
Yeah.
I think it is changing.
I
But
think
I think
it's
there's still
changing.
some hesitancy that's out there within the city to a degree to really support these departments in the way that would truly help us with a lot of the recruiting aspect, where people just know, hey, this is a great city to come to. There's a lot of unique things here, a lot of new opportunities, but it's also a city that likes public safety.
Well, and we need, as an organization, we were at a recent meeting, we had the 3 officers there, you were there, that were there on site at Buford's and acted incredibly. And after our meeting, they said thank you, and we knew nothing about the organization, so we got to do a better job too of getting making sure that they know we're here, and we're if they need something, Lifeline, so on and so forth, that we're here to help, and so we're going to really focus on.
So we've got a job for you.
But we're gonna focus on that, and to your point, tailgates and all the fun things that you guys do, we're going to continue to do that and help support that, because to your point, it cost nothing to say thanks.
Yeah,
I mean,
and so many
support.
people and businesses in this community want to do it.
They do.
You know,
They do.
Again, back to your point a minute ago, like they just aren't 100% sure where or how to engage.
Yeah.
But you know, we're like, call us. You can sponsor the tailgate through us. We'll put you in touch. You know, and get it done as we were just talking before the podcast. You know, that is happening. So, you know, call us if you've got an interest in being involved as a community member. We can figure out what's best for you, what's going to meet, you know, your level of involvement and put you in direct touch. And big and little things, they add up. So
Absolutely.
it is very important to us to make sure that the officers, you know, throughout the department feel and know that support is there and real.
Yeah. I mean, on that, I mean, what is the best way for people that, you know, they see this, they see your name, whatever, like how do they really get involved? Big, little ways, like, I mean, you guys have a website.
we have a website, Central Texas Public Safety Commission. If you Google Central Texas Public Safety Commission, the website pops up. Our phone number is there. Our emails are there. You can submit a form online, whatever, or you can simply sign up for the Neighborhood Network, which is an email newsletter that goes out essentially once a month. There may be a little more frequency when a big issue is going on at City Hall, or we need to do, you know, an intermediary update of some sort to the group. So it's as simple as like putting your name on a list and reading an email, or, you know, be careful if you email us and say you have some time, because then we'll really put you to work. But you know, we
like those emails.
Yeah. I was gonna say, those are the fun ones. You're like, oh, boy.
But we're like, hello,
That's right.
welcome.
You're gonna be
but
best
no,
friends.
really, but that is an important thing to point out. And Corby said it earlier, but it's true. Our board is. It's large, it's growing, and it's very diverse. We have every walk of life and business type represented, and older members of the community, younger members of the community. I mean, you know, really, it's so diverse, and that, of course, will be our strength, right? I mean, that is our strength. But what you'll find in there is, for example, developers who are building housing, who stepped up at the meeting we had last time and said, "Hey, what can we do to help on housing costs? You know, get with me offline, and we can figure out a way to help on housing costs for new recruits." Yeah. We've got resources, and we need and want more resources within the organization to just bridge any of those barriers to supporting our recruitment and retention efforts.
Yeah, and I think the you know, Ashley Copeland, our executive director, does a really good job. If we're out in the business community and bump into somebody and that, we got, you know, let's get a meeting set. She does a really good job of doing that, you know, and the team goes out and does a really good job of that. And so, you know, our events, the golf tournament in the spring, you know, the fall event, which is obviously our big fundraiser. But, you know, having these pop-up events throughout the year, there's always a way to get involved, you know, and just come out and, you know, test us out, dip your toe a little bit, and say, "Oh, this is what we're doing. This is our organization," and it's there's a lot of buckets you can fit in the commission, and so we strive to make that available for any and all that want to get on board with us. So it's fun. It's a lot, but it's
a lot, but it's fun.
It's fun.
Never a dull moment, right?
No,
not at all.
Poor Ashley's probably wishing I'd lose her number.
No.
We're keeping each other busy.
That's right.
She's got things for me. I got things for her to do.
Well, we
but it's
appreciate
great.
that,
It's
right? I mean, it's got to be a two-way street. We don't want to be out here guessing at what's best.
No. Oh, yeah.
We don't want to be out here saying, "Oh, you know, what do they call it? Egotistical philanthropy," where people sort of assume what somebody wants versus understanding what they need. And so we don't want to assume what's needed or wanted. We want to work with you, understand what's needed. How do we have impact? Where do we and how do we get it done? And work together. So no, you cannot lose each other's phone numbers.
I think we need a podcast for you, dropping words like egotistical philanthropy on me. Like, I mean, this just got serious. Now, okay, I want to learn more. But no, I mean there's like you said, big, little, small, like whatever, however people get involved. Like that's always one of the number one things that I tell people is like just find a way, get plugged in. Oh, and it's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street.
We can always help each other out.
That's
how
right.
it goes.
And we just wrapped up the EMS graduation. Our folks were there. We do the Austin Fire Department Awards event in January, which is incredible to see all the, you know, the organization puts on that event for the for the Austin Fire Department. So there's a lot of, you know, to our point, there's a lot of ways to get involved and a lot of folks that obviously need it.
Yeah, and I want to give one example also. J.E. Dunn, who's a local construction company here, they recently, 2 weeks ago, they held a reception at their office. They invited their employees, their vendors and suppliers, They had us come out and speak, and then they chose a project related to EMS and EMS needing new headsets for their call center. And they, in the one meeting, couple of hours, educated a room full of people on the state of public safety in Central Texas, specifically the need of EMS related to these headsets, and the Central Texas Public Safety Commission. And, we left with $25,000 having been raised. And so it's, it's, again, sometimes we're just the conduit.
Yeah.
And so that was just us bridging a gap between an entity wanting to take something on for EMS and EMS directly. And so there's lots of examples like that every day that we're facilitating, whether we're in the middle of it or not. And we welcome anybody and everybody that wants to get involved.
And I sent Jennifer and Pam and Trey. I was coming back from the airport, and the individual was on Congress Bridge throwing rocks.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the SWAT truck that was there, we bought their transmission.
We bought the transmission. So Corby's
I
like,
sent it out to the group.
Corby's
I said, our
like-
dollars are hard at work.
he
right,
was like,
they
good thing
are.
we funded the transmission.
No doubt.
And
I
that was a real. I mean, that was a real ask. I mean, they
Oh,
came
yeah.
to us and said, we need a new transmission for the SWAT car. I'm like, yeah, we
Yeah.
got to have one
Answer's
of those.
yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of
And
important.
it rolls up on scene. I'm like, look at our guys go. This is cool.
That's
you know?
right. See, it works.
It works.
That's right. We did that.
Look
Full
what
circle.
happens
That's
when we
right.
work together.
It's awesome. It's great when you can see things actually come to fruition.
it was-
Those tangible projects are huge.
Yeah,
Yes.
obviously, I'm sorry SWAT had to be there. And
Well,
it was,
yeah.
not condoning the individual what he did, but it was cool to see, like, oh man,
That we
we
can
did
be
that.
effective for the
Yeah.
community, right?
That's
That's again back to just quality of life, individual, citizens driving down the road who are, then fearful of this situation,
Mhm.
businesses that are inhibited by this situation, and we're able to step up and be a partner.
help,
We
yeah.
want to do that,
Yeah.
solve problems.
Yep. I love it. Problem solving.
Problem
That's what,
solving.
that's what public safety is all about.
That's right.
isn't
That's
it,
exactly
though?
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
That's right.
exactly
That's
right.
awesome. Well, with that, any parting thoughts that you want to give everybody? We appreciate you taking the time.
No, I mean, my final comment would be, just let us continue to hear from you, and please tell us what we can do to further support the members of APD, because we are so thankful and we want to continue to communicate that in whatever way we can.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have great tailgates, and we'll take on big projects at City Hall, and we'll do everything in between. But just don't ever hesitate to reach out, because we want to continue to do as much as we possibly can to be effective for you.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah. And I would, just close in saying, on behalf of our organization, we thank you for what y'all do for us, and it's great, the partnerships that we've made over the years, and we're an open door, always will be. So always here to help.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And I would, for anybody that is listening, I would just challenge anyone that's out there, if you've thought about getting involved in public safety, but you don't know how, reach out to y'all. You can reach out to us, and we'll connect you to the right people.
Yep.
We love doing the conduit thing too, because a lot of times, we rely on each other, and so we just got to get people in the right place. So for anyone that's listening, don't hesitate to get involved. But appreciate y'all coming and being with us.
Thanks for having us.
And taking the time to hang out for a little while.
Thank you.
You bet. Appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all on the next one.